Today, we're putting on the safety glasses and stepping into a very, very specific world. We're looking at the equipment that turns raw plastisol into, well, those hyper-realistic fishing lures.
That's right. And we're not talking about small batch stuff. Our source material is a full guide on a real workhorse, the tournament-strong dual Presto pot system.
So our mission today is pretty clear. We're going to break this guide down and pull out the essential process, but also the key mechanical advantages of this kind of setup.
Yeah. I mean, if you want a shortcut to understanding high-volume production in this world, this is it.
This is a huge step up from, say, just using a microwave.
Oh, it's a different universe. It's all about control. Temperature control, consistency, taking all the guesswork out of it.
Okay, let's unpack the hardware then. It looks pretty robust.
It is. So the heart of it is two 6-quart pots. But what's really different is that each one has its own variable speed motor with a paddle already installed.
So the whole point is constant movement.
Constant, gentle movement. The plastisol is never, ever allowed to just sit still while it's heating. That's the key to getting it uniform.
That makes sense. But the guide is really quick to flag a major warning about those motors. What's the one thing you absolutely have to know?
It's a critical one, and it shows you how precise this thing is. You never spin the paddles by hand.
Never.
Never. You'll strip the gears inside the motor.
Yeah.
You always have to use the motor's power to move the paddle, even for small adjustments.
Okay, so respect the mechanics. That makes sense. Now, speaking of precision, paddle height seems like it would be everything. Too high, you don't mix the bottom. Too low, you scrape and burn.
Exactly. And there's this brilliant little method for getting it perfect. They call it the nickel trick.
A nickel, like a 5-cent coin.
Literally. You drop a nickel into the empty pot right under the paddle shaft. Then you lower the paddle until it almost, and I mean almost, touches the nickel.
And then you tighten it down.
And that sets your clearance. It's perfect. You get maximum circulation, but zero risk of scraping the bottom and scorching your material.
I love that. It's such a simple, elegant solution. Okay, so a lot of people getting into this probably already own an injector, maybe a standard bass tackle one. Does that just work out of the box?
Not quite, and this is another one of those precision things. The standard clamp on most injectors is just a little too tall.
So it would hit the paddles?
It would absolutely collide with the spinning paddles inside, so the system comes with its own skinnier clamp that you have to swap out.
Got it. It's all designed to work together without any interference.
Right, and you also get these heavy-duty ball valves on the pots.
Which gives you more options than just injecting, I assume.
For sure. It opens up things like big open pores or, really controlled layering for things like swim baits where you need a nice steady flow.
Okay, let's get to the main event. Heating this stuff up. This is where the magic happens, right? Walk me through starting a run.
So you crank both pots up to high. Simple enough. Then you turn the stir motors on, but you keep them on a low speed.
Just enough to get things moving?
Just enough to circulate the heat evenly. You don't want a vortex in there.
Now, here's where I think a lot of people trip up. The guide has a huge warning about the temperature dials on the pots themselves.
Yeah, this is the absolute #1 rule. Do not trust the dials. They're just not accurate enough for this kind of work.
So you have to bring your own thermometer to the
You absolutely must. Either a separate probe thermometer or, even better, a good infrared temp gun. You need to know the temperature of the material, not what the dial on the pot says.
Because being off by even 10 degrees could ruin a batch.
It could make the baits too soft or too brittle. It's that sensitive. You have to be precise.
So as it's heating up, you can actually see it change, right? What are the visual cues?
Oh, yeah. It's a cool process. It starts out looking milky and opaque. As it heats up, it'll start to look like a thick gel. And then it goes completely clear, like liquid glass. That's when you know it's converted and it's ready to work with.
And if you're running both pots, you're trying to keep them really close in temperature.
Within 5, maybe 10 degrees of each other at all times. That way your quality is identical no matter which pot you're pouring from.
So when do you add color and flake and all the good stuff?
The sweet spot is right around 300 degrees, just before it goes fully clear. You add your pigment, your flake, and then you bump the stir speed up just a little bit.
To get it all mixed in.
Right. Just for a minute or two until it's perfectly smooth and everything is distributed.
And that automatic stirring, that seems like the real game changer here.
It solves so many problems. First, your color is perfectly even, no streaks. Second, the flake stays suspended. It doesn't all sink to the bottom.
And I'm guessing the third is scorching.
Exactly. Because the material is always moving, nothing sits on the bottom long enough to burn. No clumps, no scorching. Just a perfect, repeatable process.
What about bubbles? That's always a headache.
Well, that's another neat advantage. Since you're injecting from the bottom of the pot, any bubbles naturally rise to the top away from the intakes. They just sort of disappear on their own.
So once you've hit that perfect 350-degree mark, it's go time. Let's talk about the actual pouring. How is this system designed for speed?
The efficiency is built right into the pot handle. So you glove up, you draw your plastisol into the injector, but then after you shoot the mold, you slide the injector right back into a special slot on the handle.
So the pot itself keeps the injector hot. It's like a heated holster.
Precisely. And that is so important. If the injector cools down, you get bad shots, you get weird color transitions. This way, you can move super fast, inject, replace, grab the next mold without ever losing that optimal temperature.
That's a huge time saver. Now, what about those ball valves for open pours? How do you control that flow?
You just crack it open slowly. You don't just yank the handle. You ease it open to get a nice controlled drip or a steady stream, whatever you need for that specific pour.
And if you're layering colors, I'm guessing patience is key?
Oh, it is the ultimate test. You have to let each layer gel turn from a liquid into a soft solid before you pour the next one. Pour too soon, and the colors just bleed together.
Right. Now, what happens at the very end of a run when the material in the pot is getting low?
You have to watch your temperature. With less material in the pot, the heat can spike really fast. So you need to manually turn the temperature down a little bit to keep from overcooking what's left.
But you can use pretty much all of it.
You can pour it right down to the last drop if you manage it correctly. The utilization is fantastic.
Okay, let's talk about the part everyone hates. Cleanup. The guide makes it sound surprisingly easy with this system.
It is, but there is one golden rule.
Which is?
Timing. You have to start cleaning while the plastisol is still hot and soft before it gels and hardens completely.
So once the pots are off and cool enough to handle, what's the actual process?
Well, because it's still warm, the material just peels right off everything.
Yeah.
Take the paddles out, and you can literally peel the leftover plastisol off the shafts.
And what's left in the pot itself?
You end up with what looks like a big hockey puck of cooled plastisol. A plastisol puck.
And that's not waste.
Yeah,
That's reusable.
100% reusable. You just pull that puck out, cut it into chunks, and drop it into your next batch to be melted down. It's incredibly efficient.
That's amazing. And there's a cool little detail about cleaning the ball valve too, isn't there?
There is. When that puck cools and you pull it out, it has an imprint of the ball valve in it, which means the valve basically cleans itself on the inside.
No way.
Yeah. You usually just have to wipe the edges on the outside. You don't have to take it apart and deep clean it after every single run.
That saves a ton of time. So what are the final steps?
Just wipe everything down with a disinfectant wipe, like a Clorox wipe. Make sure it's totally dry, and you're ready for the next session.
So when you put it all together, the nickel trick, the temp control, that heated injector slot, the self-cleaning valves, what's the big picture here for a serious lure maker? I mean, it's all about process control. The value is just total consistency. Perfect color, perfect flake suspension, and just incredible temperature stability. You stop being a cook, and you start being a manufacturer. It really is a workhorse.
It really is. And it makes you think. We've established that the goal is this highly controlled 350-degree temperature. Given that extreme focus, here's a thought for you to take away. How might that process fundamentally impact the final feel or even the durability of the bait itself?
That's a great question. Does that perfectly sustained, controlled heat change the actual molecular structure of the cured plastisol? Does it result in a bait with better tear resistance or memory compared to one made in a system where the heat was maybe more inconsistent?
Exactly. It's that final connection between the mechanics of the process and the actual quality of the product. And for you listening, think about which of these little details was the biggest aha moment. Was it the nickel clearance trick, the heated injector slot, or maybe that self-cleaning valve? Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.